You think about all the money that's gone into this tunnel network and into all the munitions. If that would have gone into education or innovation, what could have been done? And so I think that it's a little bit of an unfortunate situation there. But I think from Israel's perspective, I would do my best to move the people out and then clean it up.
The silent strategist, why Jared Kushner was Trump's best advisor. In the bustling, often chaotic whirlwind that defined the Trump White House, one figure moved quietly, calmly, and with an almost clinical precision: Jared Kushner. To the public, he was often seen as an enigma, the soft-spoken son-in-law standing beside one of the most polarizing figures in American political history. But behind the scenes, Kushner was arguably Donald Trump's most effective and indispensable advisor. He didn't dominate cable news or fire off incendiary tweets. Instead, he took on the assignments others wouldn't touch and delivered. One of his most notable successes came in the Middle East, an arena where countless American administrations had tried and failed.
Only 3 issues that matter. I said, just tell me what you think the compromise is that you think the other side could live with, that you would accept. And it was very hard to get them talking about this. Oh, you have to go back to 1972. You have to go back to 1982. You have to go back to 2001. You have to go to Camp David. And I was just like, I don't need a headache and I don't need a history lesson. Just I want a very simple thing. Here today in 2017, what's the outcome that you would accept? And I was dealing with their negotiators, their back channel secret negotiators, their double secret. And I was just like, this whole thing is like...
Through the Abraham Accords, Kushner helped broker normalization agreements between Israel and several Arab nations, including the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. These were real diplomatic breakthroughs, achieved not with fanfare, but with methodical relationship building and back-channel diplomacy. Unlike some of Trump's other advisors, who cycled in and out amid scandal, infighting, or public disputes, Kushner remained consistent and loyal. He served not as a sycophant, but as a stabilizer, one of the few people who could speak candidly to the president without fear of being cast aside. His proximity to Trump as a family member granted him access, but it was his discretion, data-oriented thinking, and refusal to engage in palace intrigue that earned him influence. Kushner also played a key role in domestic policy. He led the administration's criminal justice reform initiative, which culminated in the First Step Act, a rare moment of bipartisan achievement.
A lot of people who, a lot of them were good people. They just made a mistake, and the toll that it weighed on them and on their families was very disproportionate. You know, we had a woman who came to visit me who was the first female recipient of the First Step Act, who got out of prison early. And she got out, but she didn't have a driver's license. She couldn't apply for a job, had old fines she had to pay, had to commute to go get drug tests all the time, even though she was not a risk anymore. And we have all these different restrictions that hold people back. What we'll do over the next 6 months is how do we find ways to eliminate hurdles for people coming out of prison to get back into the workforce. And you can do this really well in a time when you have a very tight labor market. And we're seeing a lot of people get these second chances.
Mine is real short. 2 months ago.
This reform eased sentences for nonviolent offenders and offered rehabilitation opportunities, earning praise from both Democrats and Republicans.
Legislation that Kushner helped develop with the president and how it's already unbelievably helping Americans.
When he was approached with this issue and he saw how a lot of people leaving prison didn't have the skill set and had so many obstacles preventing them from getting back on a path, he said, of course, that's why they'll go back and commit more crimes. So he thought it was good for public safety and also for these people to figure out how do we invest the resources to help them have a better chance at succeeding.
Yeah.
In a White House often mired in division, Kushner helped bridge a gap. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, Kushner took charge of supply chain logistics for PPE and ventilators. While the broader federal response faced criticism, his operation brought a private sector mindset to an urgent public crisis, coordinating deliveries and marshaling resources with the help of business allies. Critics claimed nepotism. They said he lacked experience. But time and again, Kushner used his outsider status as an asset. working not within the bureaucratic mold, but outside of it, driving results in unconventional ways. In the end, Jared Kushner may not have been the loudest voice in the room, but he was often the most productive. Where others saw chaos, he sought systems. Where others played politics, he focused on outcomes. In an administration defined by spectacle, Kushner was the one advisor who played the long game. That, perhaps more than anything else, is why he remains one of the most consequential figures of Trump's presidency and, arguably, his best advisor.